Where are we going? What are we doing? Let's get into it. I'm ready.
Yes.
Let's go.
So we have our year-end award. So we're going to step into the past before we move on to the present and the future of the industry. So let's get
This
one of
guy
these
with the
awards.
teaser. This guy with the
hmm
radio teaser. Even though we're live on YouTube, shout out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you get the notification when we go live.
hmm All right, so let's get into these awards. So we're gonna start with best entrance of the year. This is one of the ones that we do differ from everybody else because we're not the same. So best entrance, Chris. Do you want to start it off?
All right, I'll kick it off. Best entrance of the year for me goes to Joe Hendry's debut on NXT. When that camera and that crowd was shaking for that debut, nothing else delivered like that for me in 2024.
Ah, okay.
Right. Okay.
I'm not mad at the Joe Hendry. I thought maybe his name might pop up in another one of these categories that we have here. So stay tuned. He may be a two-time Dumb Marks Podcast Year End Award winner.
Multiple.
Two-time. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean the pop was there for sure. Absolutely. I can't remember. I'm trying to think back if it got spoiled at all. But I
No,
mean,
I wasn't spoiled. I was
It
shocked.
didn't get spoiled for me. Jason's the one that texted over. Tune into NXT. It's like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Joe Hendry had a year in 2024.
Yeah.
For sure. We'll see if they capitalize it because he's
Very true.
he got a title match against Nick Nemeth coming up on the 19th at Genesis. That match was made official Thursday on Impact. So yeah, we'll see if the new year. A lot of contract speculation. There's some other speculation with Joe Hendry. He may show up on Monday night, based on his NXT award acceptance that he received, and then they immediately flashed the, say my name and I'll show up on any show, and then they immediately hit the Raw January 6th graphic after. So are we giving away the finish? Like, what are we doing?
They did it for one person already, so let's keep doing it.
Yeah, well, why
see.
not? Yeah, they care about clicks more than anything. Well, that's their thing now, clicks and views.
Yeah. Early Royal Rumble prediction. I expect Joe Hendry to be in the men's Royal Rumble this year.
Same here.
Jordan Grace was a surprise last year in the women's. I fully expect Joe Hendry to be in the men's Royal Rumble this year.
And that could have been on a surprise entrance.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already talked about how, I mean, for the most part, 2024, his theme song and video was, climbing the charts, especially over in the UK. He's putting it up to be nominated for one of the awards over in the UK this year. So you get that clickbait for a Rumble surprise entrant in the Rumble. I mean, that's going to keep delivering just like he did in 2024.
Did Joe Hendry organic pop and growth and theme song and all that, that's probably the closest thing to the original Yes movement.
Yes.
From somebody that wasn't not expected. I mean, you could, depending on where we go later in this topic, with what I'm saying, because I may have somebody on this list that fits into that, but just the sheer out of nowhere nature of it for me, right? Like, Hendry's one of those guys. Is he entertaining? Absolutely. Can he wrestle? I think he's underrated as a wrestler. Not going to put him in any top 20 categories as far as wrestling bell to bell, but for me,
Not yet, at least.
definitely underrated.
Yeah.
But he encompasses what pro wrestling is to a T.
Yes.
So the fact that his growth was what it was this year, that was probably the most parallel line I could draw would be the original Yes movement when Ryan got over the way he got over in WWE from the fans, because the fans were the ones that got Joe over.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joe did his job. Don't get me wrong. You got to be good at your job to get over, right? But it was a slow, steady build, and it just kept gaining momentum, and before you know it, it was everywhere. I mean, billboards, charts, iTunes, it was everywhere. You had rappers, you had musicians, you had celebrities. I mean, it was everywhere. Crossover moment.
You had non-wrestling fans doing TikToks and Instagram videos
Mhm.
with that theme song.
And what does WWE do almost probably better than anybody else? They capitalize on the crossover star when they're there. AEW is doing it with the Costco guys, but we can save that and get into it. I don't know if Tiffy Time made any year-end awards, but she's definitely on my Mount Rushmore this week.
Off to a great start.
Yeah,
Jason,
yeah,
it's on your shirt this week.
yeah. She's on the shirt.
It took me forever to find this shit.
Yo,
Hidden.
if you look at her 2024, it's arguably one of the better rookie of the years as far as debut. She debuted in February last year. Debuted February 2024, won Money in the Bank July, and now she's champion in January.
When was her feud with Becky? Was that late last year, or I mean late 2023 or early 24?
So
I thought that was the middle.
was it the middle of this run or?
I thought it was the middle of 2023.
2023. Okay.
Because that was whenever Becky was NXT champ, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a hell of a year after getting called up. So yeah, she was definitely. I had my own Mount Rushmore this week of Mount Rushmore. Tiffany being up there for sure with that, and the way they led into it, I thought Nia and Naomi had a banger of a match.
Started out slow, but they turned it on.
Yeah, they turned it on. I thought it was the best Naomi looked since she came back to WWE. So the swerve, the fake cash in, her tossing the ref over so he couldn't hand the briefcase in was hilarious because I don't think we've ever seen that. Like, when has somebody that's cashed in the Money in the Bank stopped the ref from cashing in the Money in the Bank?
The pump fake.
Major pump fake. That was
a 3.
Yeah, that was a Peja Stojakovic pump fake. So but
Mark, we'll get into that when we do predictions for Monday Night Raw.
yeah, we're not giving everything up front on show, Mark. You gotta stay for the whole goddamn episode. Okay, Squeeze? But yeah, Joe
Jason.
Hendry, Chris, not mad at that for a pick.
Jason, entrance?
I'm going Final Boss.
That was mine too.
When
Which
the eyes
one?
turn red. When the eyes turn red.
The new theme with the electricity in the background when that heel rock theme hit, the new one.
No, it was the day the lights, the eyes turn red. So
Okay.
you realize it was actually evolving into something each
Okay.
week. It was added to it, but that was my one. Yeah, Final Boss.
Okay. And I'll play off of yours because that was mine too. The Raw episode, April 1st. I went back and did the research on it. That's when it was everything, when the camera, the lighting, everything was perfect. Camera down the middle, his image showed up in the back, the final boss, all that stuff. That
15
was
minutes, the
entrance
longest
of the
you've gone, Squeeze. That's the longest you've gone. 15 minutes. What you talking about? 15 minutes in Gonzo. You
The Iron Man challenge over there at 15 minutes.
Did I give you enough for the view? And I'm out.
Yeah, but whatever. His music switched to the heel music. That was on the 15th. Then on March 15th, then on March 22nd is when he added the final boss to it. But then on April 1st, that was the perfected entrance of everything.
Okay.
So that is
Who has
that's
built
my
up a
entrance
theme
here.
song?
The Rock.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
a
Like,
different
who's-
entrance for
Yeah,
a week
like,
ago. I remember that.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
It was just like
From
every
that-
week there was something there. It was
cut-
perfect.
to cut
So what
6
happens this week? Does he
Instagram
debut
promo.
something different? See another evolution of it?
I don't know. I think it's kind of perfect where it's at. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't change anything about it. But yeah, I could see why. I mean, it's just a different level.
Mhm.
Like, there's levels to everything, and that was just a different level.
Yeah.
Like,
And then it was Hill Rock again. It
right?
wasn't People's Champ Rock. It was Hill Rock.
Love it or hate it, the guy knows what the hell he's doing.
It's-
I mean, absolutely. And when you think about it, like they've touched on this a couple times, but like for him to be as highly regarded as he is and thought of as one of the GOATs, his run was not that long.
Mm-mm.
He had like
97
what
to 02,
maybe a
really.
6-year run before he left,
Mhm.
and he's been back in pockets since he's gone. But like
Mhm.
to be that stamped, that official, that he is one of the ones that everybody wants to see come back. Everybody hopes comes back, and when he does, he blows the roof off every single time. Is just insane when you think about it, because he only had, he had like a Terrell Davis career. Like he was in, out, Hall of Famer. Like,
Yeah, but how many times do you hear wrestlers talk about it? Like, this business isn't about, making friends and longevity. It's to get in, make your money, and then get out. And he did exactly that. And that's what he keeps doing. Exactly. I mean, his was injuries, but
yeah, it's just crazy that,
It shows the impact you left.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, that the fact that you're considered on a Mount Rushmore by a lot of people for only having that short of a run, and like pro wrestling, yeah, people fizzle out, and the list of longevity has gotten shorter and shorter. I feel there's only a handful of guys that really run the gauntlet of a long career. It's not like the 80s and 90s guys where they've stretched it out. And hell, Flair's still trying to get another last match, and he started like in the goddamn 70s. Like, so
he's gonna be the Terry Funk of this generation now.
But yeah, so not mad with the Final Boss being up there. Those
Not at all.
definitely captivated my attention with some entrances this year.
Steve.
So mine are two, but it's from the same pay-per-view. Mine's from Backlash in France. The official Jey Uso Yeet. That was the entrance. That was the Yeet. That was the moment that started it all right there at that pay-per-view with the lights out, cell phone camera, flashlights turned on, everybody eating. And then later on in that pay-per-view, you had probably one of the coolest things I've seen in wrestling, when the camera shaking for AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did his normal thing. Nope, like the music hit, walk out, ring, standing there, and the crowd is going that insane. And they were making that much noise and being just whatever they were doing, that the cameras were literally shaking for the AJ Styles. So I got two entrances from Backlash. Those to me were the entrances of the year for me.
Every now and then, I still get the phenomenal chant going in my head.
Yes.
Just comes out of nowhere,
Just random bits of trivia, right? That just pop in your head. Like, it's like men just have wasted space up there of just stuff that doesn't even mean anything, and it's like oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, those two for me this year hit it. And when I said earlier about Joe Hendry, like Jay with the yeet again is a parallel to Brian with the yes. And they both start with Y's. So, you got yes and you got yeet, both with hand movements and everything else. So
nice. Yep.
I don't mean to jump the gun here on you, Don, but because Steve's talking about it, that was my moment. It was the France crowd.
Okay, I was about to say moment of who's moment of the year is next.
Yeah,
there you go, Chris.
It's like that. I can single out like the AJ and the Yeet, but the crowd was hot. That was just like Backlash the year before in Puerto Rico. That crowd delivered.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, international crowds in general this year were insane. We had a lot of good ones. We could have ran that as a category in and of itself, right?
Yes,
for loudest or rowdiest best fan base. You could have just plugged in all those international PLEs and you would have had a topic right there in and of itself. I agree with you, Chris. I think they stood out the most, and they definitely doubled up on that Puerto Rico crowd. So I don't know where Backlash is this year, if it's international or not.
They haven't said yet. So
I think it's Toronto this year.
Toronto's got Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
So they haven't announced Backlash yet. But they're doing that tour building up to Mania, in Europe.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they're going to head back over international or.
And it's funny you said that because they also released the U.S. dates for the build up to on the road to WrestleMania this week. So there's gonna be a lot of back and forth.
They
and
build this up.
Yeah, we'll see how they handle that. But yeah, moment of the year to have that crowd be
Definitely
there
the crowd.
on that show, I can't hate on that at all.
Jason?
To me, I'm going Taker at WrestleMania. I have never seen so many people send me stuff that don't watch wrestling. Send me the Undertaker's like just people reacting to the gong. And I've watched people online get into wrestling because they wanted to see what all the hype was about this moment.
See, and that's crazy that you say that because at the time, everybody was hating on it because it wasn't the Gladiator and Stone Cold.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, either way you win, but still that.
But it made perfect sense with Taker.
Yeah.
We broke that down at the time with Mania. We talked about that in the Mania, recap show that we did of night 2 with
Go back and watch it on YouTube.
There you go. Go ahead into the archives. With the passing of the torch and the whole everything else. Right?
I'm telling you, hey, different years.
So angry talking about it.
Look, he put on a Santa hat, and we got Ginger Spice up there today, boy. He out there ready to go.
I'm telling you, go back and watch it now.
Yeah. So,
Jason, that was one that I considered for moment too. Was the whole segment, the whole like WrestleMania 40 like
the whole
callback,
7-minute run-in of
John
Cena, The Rock, Taker, like that whole completely dusty, overbooked finish to that match. But it worked. Every single aspect of that worked. Right? Like,
for being like for WrestleMania 40, like I get it why they did it, and it was enjoyable for long-term fans.
Yeah, it's insane. Absolutely insane. Not mad at that either.
Steve?
Mine's gonna be Sting's retirement match.
Okay.
The vignette of him sitting in the theater watching his career go by, sitting up saying it's showtime, having his sons come out as NWO Sting and 1980 Surfer Sting, and then Sting walking out as the Crow to the match itself, and the send off, like that was the if we have Taker in 2024 and we have Sting 2024 going out, like Taker said afterwards on his own podcast, like he got his closure in that, and it wasn't a planned thing. Like he was in the box having a beer, drinking, and they hit him up. Hey, can you come down and do this? So like, the fact that Taker finally got his closure, and then like I said, the end of an icon. I thought AEW did a really good job of sending Sting off on a retirement and on his shield, so to speak, in a way that made sense for Sting. And just the visual of him with his sons out there on the ramp was definitely moment of the year for me.
And someone who actually looked good going out. Like, no, you shouldn't still be here. Like, hang it up. No, he was still prime Sting.
I mean, the people that were in the match knew how to help carry it with him, and not being a one-on-one helps in that situation too, because he didn't really have very many singles matches in AEW.
No.
I don't think
I give him his flowers for it, even though I don't like the legends or like that. Yeah. But he still did his job, and yes, that deserves a moment of the year.
Yeah.
My moment of the year is Jordynne Grace entering the Rumble. I know people were leaking a lot of that online, but to me, if it's not on TV, it's not canon. So I was genuinely shocked whenever her music hit and she came out.
I stayed away. I didn't see any of those leaks or spoilers at the time, like for surprises as possibilities, right? But that when that siren went off, I was like, "Holy shit!" Grace, like, and that's before we got any of the TNA NXT crossover.
Yes, before,
right? Like, that was just holy shit moment. And then you had the face-offs with Jade, you had the face-offs with Bianca. Like she did her thing. You know,
Reunion with Naomi, hugging, then duking it out.
yeah, like it was.
Mhm.
which was good storytelling for what they had just done in
For what
TNA.
they just had. Yep.
Yeah.
Like a week or two before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Jordan Grace this year. If you tuned in to Impact on Thursday, one of my other Mount Rushmores this week was the segment with her and Tessa Blanchard that basically carried throughout the show. Tessa came back, attacked her at the last pay-per-view,
So that.
right? Jordan sitting by the garage entrance to the arena. No, you want to come back? You want to sneak attack? No, I'm catching you. It's on site as soon as you come in. I like the AEW babyface. No, sitting there, cut a good promo. Impact in general had a really good show on Thursday. Like I had a lot of highs on that show on Thursday. But then at the end, they had an 8-man women's tag match. Jordan and babyfaces win. Tessa attacks Jordan, beats her down, and literally drags her down the same garage ramp that Jordan was sitting on with her bag, took the strap to her bag, wrapped it around her neck, and dragged her out of the arena and closed the garage door and said, "This is my Knockouts division now." So really done well on
Yes.
Thursday on
Yeah.
Impact.
Yes.
I still have to go back and watch it. I didn't have time to watch it, so
Yes.
I'm so ready
It was good. It was so
Yeah.
good.
so ready to see them two get in the ring. But Jordan got a big year this year. We know her
not even
contract's
2 weeks
up.
away. So
We know her contract's up.
Yeah.
So maybe the 19th is her swan song in TNA because everybody believes she's on to WWE pastures this year. Who knows? We'll see. For me, I would say she needs to move on. She can't do anything else in TNA. She's been the flag bearer, the stalwart. She's been to TNA with Athena has been the ROH.
Mhm.
She's been that for a long time. So, and she can make a shit ton of money in WWE. Like,
Yes, you can.
so
Yes, you can. All right. Next category: Female Wrestler of the Year. Chris.
I don't know if this is gonna be a clean sweep, but it might be.
I almost did it. Brought it up. My female wrestler of the year is Jordan Grace. Keep it going with her. Everything she did in 2024, big fan. From Rumble to end of the year, enjoyed all of her matches. The crossover ability. Steve, you said she can make a ton of money in WWE because she has that crossover ability right now. She has that look. She has that following. It's a star that's already made that they can bring in and make money off of to begin with. And you don't get that all the time in WWE right now. Instead of them like trying to go through the system and make their own stars. So I can't wait to see what 2025 brings for her.
And if you're gonna have Roxanne move up to the main roster, even though you have Stephanie, you got Julia, and you got my mind blanking on the last one.
Zarya.
Zarya. Right, you have those three, and then you add in Jordan Grace. You got a 4-pack there that can run the entire year of matches and feuds and everything else in NXT, and bump up your Jada Parkers and Soul Rukas and like you got a stacked division. So yeah, not mad at all with Jordan Grace being up there as female wrestler of the year.
Jason.
Well, she took the title off. Who was going to be my female wrestler? I'm going with Nia Jax. I've enjoyed her entire title run, the whole way through. Everything she's done, she looks so much better than she did her first stint in WWE.
Yeah,
she killed it to me. And the bump she's been taking, other than that hard Corona, she's been.
Yeah, she's put her work in.
Yeah, I was a Nia fan before, so
yeah.
That one surprised me. I was not expecting Nia to be up there. I mean, was it a year-long run? No, and our criteria is January to December. We don't
calendar year.
Yeah, we don't do the bullshit. The Observer and the PWI and everything else does.
She came in dominant and she left out dominant.
I'm not gonna be mad at that.
No, not mad at it.
And she has a story set up ready to go. And the fact that, she got cashed in on, and took a KOD from Bianca.
Yeah, a couple stories right
And then
there.
50 moonsault.
Really? Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
mean,
You could easily be setting her up for her Mania story right now.
Yes. Yeah, not
Yeah.
bad.
yeah.
That'll be surprising, but not bad at all. Steve.
This one was a little difficult for me, just because of the pockets that people had. Chris, you mentioned Jordan Grace with her pockets, but consistent all year long. You had Willow, who was out there hot first half of the year, matches
Definitely.
after matches, 2 belts, the whole 9 yards. Her and Mercedes tore it down. Her and Statlander tore it down. Then you got into, Mercedes these last couple months and what she did, but I can't give it to you just on that short of a run. Like, even though she's Mercedes Moné, for me, it was timeless Tony Storm. I just character wise, in ring wise, you had the year long feud with Mariah. Everything she did after she lost the belt to now, I'm still entertained and really want to see where it goes, even though I hate the way that they're booking her with the amnesia gimmick. But timeless Tony Storm, I know she was tied on ESPN's #1 with Roxanne, but I gave the nudge to Tony for what she did in 2024. Hey, listen, I'm not mad at that. And we're not going to promote that, but at the same time, like,
Sean is booker, promoter, whatever you talent scout of the year, whatever
hey,
you want to call
there's
it.
a couple people that have been showing clips of a certain wrestler in Mexico that if we're looking at globes, Sean should have already made a call and flew that person first class, because
Then I follow a page and they be like, "Oh, this person signed with the WWE," and it's like, "Oh, I see why. I see why."
yeah. Speaking of
On that NIL deal.
sidebar, real quick, I saw a rumor that because Sean got brought up with the honorable mention for the Globes, I saw a rumor that D'Amore signed on to run NXT and be
I
the
saw
booker
that
for
rumor too.
NXT, and Sean's gonna go up and do SmackDown with it being 3 hours.
Be interesting.
I saw it in, I think, one spot, maybe 2 spots, but nothing else has come out since I saw it.
Yeah.
And nowhere else has confirmed it. So I don't know if it's true, if it's not true, but we were
That relationship with
talking
TNA. Boy.
about,
Yeah.
we were talking
He's the one
about
that built it, so
we were talking about last week with Maple Leaf Pro and them being able to go up and do what they want to do in Canada and everything else. I don't know if D'Amore would take that job in NXT. I wouldn't be mad if he did, because to me, D'Amore is really great at what he does.
what would that do to Maple Leaf? Would that just make them null and void already, or?
Well, we have this WWE ID and this whole NXT Evolve that came out this week.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Running by Gabe Sapolsky. So, like, do we get back to maybe having some independence being tied into WWE, and Maple Leaf Pro would then be a part of the ID gimmick that they're running? But yeah, interesting rumor that I saw based on, Manny 123 down there with the honorable mention to Shawn Michaels and the Globes.
Nice. My female wrestler of the year is Roxanne Perez. As you guys know, I've been touting her the whole year since her heel turn. She had, since she won the title, she had 7 title defenses. She puts on great matches. As of right now, I think that she's the best in that promotion, women's wrestler right now. It's sad to see her go, but I know that she's not going to win the title and she's about to get bumped up. But she's my go-to for women's wrestling down to NXT.
She delivered.
For me, she was off to a really shaky start with the heel turn. Like, I wasn't enjoying it at all. Was it?
Yeah, he was.
It was off for me. I'm like, I don't know. She's not going to be able to do this. Like, I can't see it. But she definitely found it for sure. and kudos to her for continuing to work at her craft and get better on the mic. I don't know where her ceiling is on the main roster, because when you look at some of the talent around her and everything else, and she's 5 foot, and I don't know where she ends up, but she's won a championship in every promotion she's been in at a very young age. And, she was Ring of Honor champion, WA NXT champion. She's had her spurts, but Rumble appearances and whatnot. So, yeah, bring her up, put her on SmackDown. It's a 3-hour show now. Let's build out that women's division and give them more time as well up there.
Mhm.
So,
even though she was face, she had even though she was face, she had history with Tiffy Time. So you can see where that ends up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I'm all for that.
Right. Chris, male wrestler of the year.
I don't think this is going to come as any surprise for you guys, but I'm giving it to Ospreay.
Oh.
Just
there's a surprise there, Jason.
you thought Brian, huh?
It's always Brian.
No, I mean, he was up there, but if he would have been done, maybe I would have given it to him just for that. But with him saying, he's hoping to come back, so we'll save that one. But Ospreay delivered start to finish. Start out, New Japan, TNA, then moved into AEW. I know it's not his thing, but banger after banger after banger.
I think he ended the year with 15 5-star matches, including 2 5-star matches at World's End. The Fletcher was a 5-star, and him and Okada was a 5 3/4.
Him and Fletcher, that was my Mount Rushmore, was that match. Didn't necessarily need the blood for the match. I'm okay with blood in matches, but didn't feel like it was actually needed, even more so just for that, I guess, to make him how strong he going to be for that Okada match. But yeah, that opened up the show, kicked it off. That's how you do it. And really enjoyed it last week.
Yeah, that was. So when we broke down World's End last week, we were giving matches of the night, and I had Mercedes and Stat, and it was really a toss up between her and then her and Stat and Okada or Ospreay and Kyle, like you said, start off the pay-per-view. But I mean, I get the Meltzer 5-star ratings thing is just, and Meltzer didn't give Mercedes and Stat 5 stars.
What did he give them?
4 3/4.
Then his argument is, it's basically 5 stars. So.
Yeah, like come on, bro. Like, if you're not giving that women's match 5 stars, and it's just
what's up, DJ?
But you gave other 5 stars, like
What did he give their first match? Do you know?
4.5, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, I just 15 5-star matches a year
would expect.
And a lot of those were match of the year contenders, which I'm sure we'll get into after we run through this category. So yeah, Ospreay being men's wrestler of the year, even though he didn't win a major title.
He didn't need it.
But that's what I'm saying. He put out that body of work this year that he didn't win a major singles title and was still wrestler of the year for you. So
it's not about the titles always. It's just how you deliver in the ring.
Not going to hate on Ospreay for that.
Jason.
Going Drew McIntyre. The man changed his whole gimmick, became a heel on social media, hit you on every front, in ring, outer ring, on the mic. He killed it and carried 2 feuds with people on the shelf. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, you guys both had my 1s and 2s that I was debating all week long as far as who's going to be my male wrestler of the year for everything that you guys said for both of them, right? Mm-hmm. So honestly, I could not pick one or the other legitimately. Like I enjoy both of them, so I flipped the coin. I want the old coin. So I flipped the coin.
Okay, Two-Face, what happened?
It landed on heads, and that meant Will Ospreay's my wrestler of the year. I couldn't. They were both legitimately both for everything that you guys said, and Drew's still off. I hated how they used him last night.
Yeah.
That could have been on my mush of the week because it's like, what are you doing? But no, those two for me stood out amongst a very good crop this year of potential wrestlers of the year. But Ospreay won in a coin flip.
My male wrestler of the year is Swerve. I mean, became a household name this year, became champion. His feud with Hangman, even though it was from the previous year, just continued very, very good. I mean, all of his matches were great. Defended the title 4 times before losing to Danielson. I mean, whole household name now. So it doesn't matter what happens to him. Either he heel or face, the fans love him.
Mhm.
No matter what. Yeah. He
And
definitely
Prince
broke through. Yeah. He definitely broke through this past
Anytime
year.
anytime you hand out toilet paper to the crowd and they TP somebody, you're going to be high on my list because that was hilarious.
ECW vibes right there.
That was hilarious. But the fact that Ricochet got his lick back on Wednesday, now I'm interested. Now I'm invested.
That we'll talk about that. All right, final category, match of the year. Chris.
All right. It happened last January and enjoyed it all the way through the year. Ospreay Alexander 2 on TNA Impact.
Oh,
It's my match of the year.
I thought you were going to go Ospreay Omega from the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
That kicked off the year.
I thought you were going to go Danielson Okada.
It was the match that was one of the ones that kicked off the year, kicked off TNA Impact, and just over delivered for me. And it was hard to live up to that. I mean, Ospreay had some amazing matches in 2024, and I might be able to pick some other ones and generally other matches for the year. But the reason why my B didn't take over for it, I was debating between Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. But because it was more the moment of the ending and Cody overcoming the story, I still enjoyed the match, but the match overall for Ospreay and Alexander delivered more.
Oh, we got that was Jason's female wrestler of the year. Nia Jax losing her title is the mush of the week for DJ. Yeah, I can see that. Having a mush in a best booking sequence in the same sentence.
DJ could have turned off SmackDown right after that, and he would have been happy.
Right.
Jason, match of the year.
I'm gonna show the women some love. So it was a toss up between a match on SmackDown between Bianca and Io Sky or Willow and Statlander, and Statlander and Willow edged out. That match was just that was the moment of the show for me. Despite the little split on the thumbtacks, could have been moment of the year too. So
yeah, an AEW match for Jason for the year.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about Willow being up there for my women's wrestler of the year. We have one more after this. But yeah, she's definitely that match. It's crazy, right? Like Statlander had that with her, and then the last two with Mercedes, and both her and Willow, both the matches were good. So she put on 4 bangers with 2 different women, and it's like, what are you doing? Through a ridiculous heel babyface turn, that made no sense, and she still just goes out there and crushes it in the ring, time and time again. So it's like,
just imagine if he didn't get hurt. He'd be in the stratosphere right now.
Steve,
so
match of the year.
Match of the year for me. I'm this again. A lot of tough choices for me. I thoroughly enjoyed Takeshita and Mike Bailey from Maple Leaf Pro. Chris, you brought up Ospreay and Alexander. You know how high I'm on Alexander. Ospreay and Omega to kick off the year was just an instant classic. Jay, you brought up some of the women's matches already, but for me, one that I thoroughly enjoyed and it won TNA's match of the year, Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich. Bound for
Glory.
Glory. Yeah, those two together. Like we talk about the big meaty men slapping meat, and then I make jokes on all the time. And just, but those two together, every single time they're in the ring, they deliver on believability more than just about any two people out there, as far as the physicality that they bring with each other. And they went at it for a really, really long time back and forth. Jordan was already over. Masha went over, and yeah, just tremendous stuff there. So I got Slamovich and Grace for my match of the year.
I'm with that. 2 for TNA.
And my best match of the year, as you know, I only watch AEW and WWE, but it comes outside for that. And Steve mentioned it. Takeshita and Mike Bailey. That is my match of the year. 2 young rising stars put a smile on my face that night. Yeah.
And what's crazy is Takeshita went back to back and did the same thing with Alexander the next night. Like insane.
Yes. So the first event in Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, those 2 main evented it, and the match was just grounded, aerial assaults. It was so good, and it had a thing that all the other matches, like Ospreay and them had, they actually sold stuff. That's why Ospreay and a lot of his matches didn't get any consideration from me, because the no selling this year was ridiculous in matches. But Bailey and Takeshita just kept it grounded, and it was different. It felt good.
I know.
I'm really interested seeing where Bailey ends up in 2025.
All signs point to him going to AEW.
I don't know if I really want to see him end up there, but
I don't know either.
New Japan might be a better full-time fit for him.
I feel, given his style and his gimmick in that, I think he could do really good things in New Japan. But again, he's another guy, because he not only did he have that match with Takeshita, but another one on my short list was him and Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, all right, you see him in those types of matches and you're like, this dude's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, where's his ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's another guy that is just flat out great in the ring and can pretty much throw down with anybody and have a very high quality match. But does that make you a star? Does that make you a top guy? Does that make you a main eventer? I don't know if he has that ceiling on him.
He doesn't have a gimmick yet either. He's a great wrestler, but like if he can figure out a gimmick to really bring people in and buy into him a little bit more, that could be what really changes the game for him in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
We have done heel of the year and babyface of the year. That didn't make the list this year as far as categories go.
What was yours, DJ?
Maybe next year. Mm-hmm.
And then we got one more, right?
I thought that was it.
Yeah, that was the 5.
What was it?
Is the other one for the future?
No,
no.
The future is just the streaming stuff. Yeah, that was it. It was just 5.
Yeah, we left off feud of the year. We didn't do breakout. We didn't do breakout star of the year. Like, all right. Well, let's get into some quick hits for 2025. What do you got? Who you got for breakout star of the year 2025? When we come this time 2026, and we're running through the list of awards again. Who's your breakout star 2025 that can fit in one of these categories that we talked about?
That would be.
I got one name that immediately jumps off the page, and it's Jacob Fatu.
Look, if he gets Solo over, a Solo chance.
Yes.
Crowd is chanting Solo?
Yeah. You're a heel. You're a heel.
And it's not even for Solo. It's just.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio's heel of the year?
Well, it's because he's a
Dom?
deadbeat dad. He's a deadbeat dad. Yeah, I mean, Fatu for me, the craziest thing about him, right? People that didn't know what he does in the ring, the way he debuted and just destroyed everything, it was like, holy shit, this guy's a star. But the thing that has captivated me the most by him, it doesn't matter who they place in front of him, every single stare off that he has is like, I want to see it.
The crowd wants it. Yes.
I want to see it. He even had that reaction with him and Braun Strowman. And it's Braun Strowman.
Because dude's just a
Because people
beast,
want to
and
see
I
him get
feel like he can beat the
annihilated.
shit out of anybody.
Like, you had him and Strowman. You had him and Braun Breaker with that face off on Raw was just, yo. If they didn't pencil that in as a future WrestleMania main event, I don't know what they're doing.
We'll be getting into that soon, Taquan. We will be getting into that soon.
Wesley,
Paul last night, his hype, like his promo and like hype, like putting over the new bloodline did a lot, just to tell you why you should buy into them.
Yeah, he's not even welcomed in any of the American prisons. I was like, that's hilarious. But yeah, for me, Jacob Fatu 2025 breakout star of the year.
Give me Zarya. I would say Vakir, but they still have that language barrier to break down.
Yeah.
And without having like a Funaki, or was it Funaki that she was with?
Funaki was with Julia.
Oh, Julia, yeah. Without having a translator, it'd be a tougher road.
Give me Ethan Page on the main roster. I think he has all the tools to be the perfect heel for the main roster. Give me like how Bobby Roode was down in NXT.
Maybe he could just smile back.
That's correct. Sean is literally running NXT by booking his career again.
Yeah, that's all he's doing.
That's all he's doing, literally.
Give me Alexander, depending on where he ends up. I want 2025 to be the year that everybody talks about him, not just in TNA.
Yeah, I mean, I've been touting and waving the Alexander flag on this show for 3 years. About 3 years. And yeah, he's another guy that I think AEW doesn't make sense.
No.
Because they won't know what to do with him.
Exactly.
He will totally get lost in that.
It's WWE or New Japan for me with Alexander.
Hey, Alpha Team has a spot.
Speaking of that was my mush of the week this week. How do you run that match now with Gable and Otis?
It felt pointless.
Yeah, you paused it, you cut it off right whenever it was at its precipice, and right whenever it hit its peak to lump Chad in with the Wyatt 6, and I don't know why they did that. I still don't know why they did that. But you killed everything that was built up for them to have that moment, and it just fell flat on Monday night. The match was good. Don't get me wrong. Gable, for me, he
passed expiration date though.
Yeah, but that for sure. So breakout star of the year. There you go. There's some future predictions for who we think will end up on one of these categories next year as far as rest of the year, match of the year, etc., etc. So that's the year-end awards. If you missed it, go back on YouTube after the show ends live
and watch it.
You gotta say it like Dawn. Yeah, you gotta
and watch it.
You gotta say it stern.
Yeah, just watch it. Yeah. We're cutting through the red tape here. Watch the shit. Okay.
Like, follow, subscribe.
Gosh.